Hi everyone, my name is Anita Ladhani. I'm a licensed clinical social worker and an energy practitioner. And today's topic is a little serious. It's about bullying. So the old school bullying when we were growing up was getting pushed on the playground, that stereotypical, having your lunch money stolen or taken from you or giving it voluntarily, name calling. That was the old school traditional bullying that we used to experience. Now, some of that still happens, in terms of name calling, but especially these days with most of our kids still doing online schooling, and also with kids just having access to screens, bullying has taken a new form. It's been called cyberbullying, but we need to understand what that means. So what is cyberbullying? Cyberbullying is basically virtual bullying where, kids can send create nasty, mean memes about someone and pass it out to their friends group or their classes. They may take an inappropriate picture or something private that was shared and again, blast it, in their friends group. They may take, they may just spread false lies about you, and something that I came across that just blew my mind a couple of days ago with a client was a form of bullying that I've frankly never seen before. But that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It absolutely exists. And this was a bullying by some young kids in middle school, freshmen in high school. And what it was they created a doctrine of how to bring this person down. And when I read that doctrine, it was just plain mean, like a whole plan of how they were going to bring down this, whoever, John, okay? And then they all sort of, colluded and planned on doing this where they built him up and then at the 10th day, they would just, pull the rug from under him and make him feel horrible. Like that was intentional. Now, these are kids that met playing online, playing video games online. And I know these days a lot of young kids are spending a lot of time on whether it's, PS4s or PS2s or whatever. I don't even know what they're called, but they're online networking, playing video games. Adults are doing it too. Parents, keep an eye out for your kids. Make sure your kid is not doing the bullying. We all think we've raised good kids, healthy kids, but we all have moments, growing up. I mean, I've done some really mean things looking back as an adult too that I wish I hadn't. And same with kids. They may do something that they may not consider bullying, but it absolutely is wrong. And so the impact of that, what happens is extreme, stress on the kid that's actually the target or the victim of that bully, just low self-esteem, depression, anxiety, and the worst is ultimately suicide. Suicidal ideations, suicidal thoughts, trying, cutting, all that leads. And bullying is a common denominator of that. So I'll repeat again, I work full-time in a local children's hospital's emergency room. That's my full-time job. Of course, I have my private practice, but my full-time job is to do psychiatric assessments on kids who come in because they've been sent by the police, they've been sent by their counselors, they've been sent or brought in by their parents because, either they said, I'm having thoughts of hurting myself, or the parents maybe found a note or they were concerned about, what was going on. So they said, we're concerned and we want to make sure our kid is safe. And in my last 3 years of doing this full time, and mind you, before that, I've had quite a few years of experience working with kids in different capacity, but 3 years just working in the ER, assessing and evaluating kids from as young as, unfortunately, 4 and 5 to 17. And of course, adults are a whole different, done that as well. But when it comes to kids, I've recognized a pattern of what's the common denominator of the kids that come in. And 99% of the kids that come in with mental illness or mental health or stress, anxiety, what have you, 99% of them have bullying as a common denominator. Now, they may come, I may see them in ninth grade, eighth grade, seventh grade. The bullying may have happened as back as kindergarten or first grade or second grade, and they themselves, it's really interesting, they themselves dismiss the bullying. They'll say things like, well, yeah, that was such a long time ago. That didn't make any difference. Or they'll say, well, that really wasn't bullying. They just, teased me and called me names, but they never like pushed me. So I wasn't really bullied. And it's really interesting to see how they themselves normalize the bullying. But that's a common denominator. The others, we're not going to get into that's for another talk, but the bullying is a huge, huge, huge issue. So what do you do if you find out your kid is being bullied? Let me remind you, you guys are parents first. It is your responsibility to protect your child at all cost, at all cost. So if you know your kid's been bullied, you need to report it. Simple as that. Now you may say, well, I know the other child, and the other child is really not a bad kid, and it's really, going to hurt them. He's going to get suspended. I don't want his future or her future to be, impacted negatively. It's okay. We know they didn't mean anything. We'll let it go. Well, that's great that you feel that way. I think that you're a better human being than I am, because my kids, if somebody hurts my kids, my mama tiger, is coming right out, and I'm going to do whatever I need to do to protect my child. But more than that, more than protecting your child, you have to understand that you're not doing the other kid a favor by not reporting him. You're trying to prevent him from consequences that he may or she may not have as a result of you reporting the bullying that they're doing. But something to think about. They may have bullied your child, it may not have been severe. The next child they bully, it may be severe. The child after that they bully, it may be so severe that they may commit suicide, okay? Or they may seriously cause damage. So that's number one. You need to stop them in their tracks, right? Not doing anything is doing something. All it takes for, evil to prosper is for good men to do nothing. And it really matters, even in something as simple as this. The other thing I want you to think about is this. Those who are bullying, the bully is bullying because they have been bullied themselves. Now, whether they've been bullied, by their peers, or whether they've gone through some kind of trauma or some kind of abuse in their own home. Maybe they have a parent that's just, not very compassionate and loving. Maybe, they're going through that. You need to intervene. You're not going to go, intervene in their family, but when you report it, what's going to happen is, yes, they may get suspended. Yes, they may get in trouble. They may get whatever. But hopefully also what will happen is the bully will get help as well, because the bully needs treatment and help just as much, and compassion just as much as the kid getting bullied, which is your child. So that's one thing. Take responsibility. Your job is to protect your kid. The other thing I want to urge you to do is, start the conversation. Don't wait till something happens. Sit down and have a conversation with your child casually around dinner. Make sure they understand what bullying is. Make sure you help them recognize right from wrong. It is our responsibility to raise compassionate, responsible human beings. And that can be taught. Absolutely can be taught. Bullying is a learned behavior. It's a defense mechanism. So the fact that kids are doing that is because they're trying to protect themselves. They're trying not to be the weak person in their relationship. So by bullying, they're trying to make them feel better. So please protect your child. Now, if if you find out your child's been bullied, what do? Simple, easy, get them a therapist. Don't think you're going to be your child's best friend and they're going to talk to you, because guys, you may be an amazing, have an amazing relationship with your child, and hopefully your child will talk to you. But in my experience, even the closest kids don't always open up to their parents. for many reasons. They just don't want to burden the parent. They don't want the parent to see, how much they're hurting. They don't, whatever the case might be. But you want to make sure you get them a therapist, because you want to make sure they have somewhere they can go and process. You want them to have a safe space where they can, talk to someone and hopefully learn some perspective, some safe coping skills. Excuse me. So get them help. Get them help. Keep an eye on them. Monitor your kids. If you have a child that's prone to depression and anxiety, especially keep an eye on your child. Make sure you secure your home. This is something we tell all the parents that come to the ER. Lock up your medications, put away the sharp knives and, what have you, put them away somewhere, where the kid can't get to. Monitor your child's social media, put something on the child's phone or screens where you're able to monitor them. First of all, I don't believe kids should be on screens. Correction, kids should not have their own phones. I understand screens are a part of life more so now than ever. But I don't think there's a reason for kids to have their own phones, because it just opens them up to a lot of stuff that they don't need to be. So if they have to have access to screens, make sure you put down, parameters, safety nets where they can access, certain things. They can only access what you want them to access. And then let's just monitor them and get them help and intervene. I hope this was helpful. As always, I'm always available to have a quick conversation. Take care, love and light. God bless.